What's some things that we can do to maintain these great hires once we finally found them and onboarded them and we see that they're a great fit to our culture and they're performing well? What's just some activities, some tools, some things that we can incorporate to make sure that they love where they're at?
Yeah, I think it goes back to your culture. So celebrating your culture. I like when like the company values, like on your weekly leadership meeting, recognize somebody from the team that did, went above and beyond or really lived out the value of teamwork or growth or, being resourceful, whatever that is. So creating that type of an environment where people are praising each other. I
Yeah.
think doing like, it doesn't have to be every day or every week, but like once a month or once a quarter, throw a team event. It could be a lunch like you just did with your
Yeah.
team, Chris. It could be, do a service project, go serve food to the homeless. Maybe you do a potluck or like a chili cook off. Like I had a client just do a chili cook off and they had a lot of fun with it. They had some top prizes, those kind of things. So that would be one way to keep the team engaged. I think, making sure again, like the handwritten notes, like saying, thank you or send an email. You always praise in public. And if you got a reprimand or discipline, you do that in private, right?
Hmm.
So make sure you're praising people, telling people what a great job they're doing. Like we used to have a TV board and we put like employee of the month. We had different things for like somebody like outstanding job. And we had other people on the team throughout the entire organization call out other people for doing something good. We would put that on there. We'd give them like a t-shirt for those kind of things. So you could do that. I think another big thing with like retention, it comes down to doing, your annual reviews, doing your monthly one-on-one meetings, make sure you take care of people with pay. Like right now, it's a crazy pay area and like in the labor market.
Yeah.
Like people are going and making 20 to 30% more and taking one job from here and going to the other. And so you got to make sure you're being competitive as an employer. Do your wage studies. If you don't know how to do that, like you can do very quickly, go to salary.com or bls.gov. Those are some free sites that are out there and you can put in, like HR manager, in the city, Cleveland, Ohio, and they'll give you an idea. It will not be an exact science. There's comp studies that like we pay for, like through Conexa and ERI, and those give you a little bit more detailed results. But with that, know your market, know what other people are paying. And so like what happens a lot of times from a retention standpoint, Chris, somebody, let's say they're making $15 an hour, they can go make $15 an hour now at Chick-fil-A, for example, right?
Yeah.
And so if I'm only paying $15 an hour, what am I offering that Chick-fil-A is not offering, right? And
Right.
then it's our job to educate people, right? And so we got to say, hey, we offer you full-time work, you have health insurance, these are the other benefits, paid time off, whatever that is, great place to work, opportunities to, make more money and grow within the company. They may not have some of those same opportunities with like a Chick-fil-A, right? Or they may not have that guaranteed 40-hour work week. So we have to make sure we're highlighting those things. So sometimes I've used like compensation or reward statements at the end of the year to show people, okay, you made $15 an hour. Here's all the money though that the company put into it on top of that, right? There was FICA, which is Social Security and Medicare. This is our benefit cost for medical insurance. This is what we did for the 401k retirement plan. This is what we did for your paid time off, your paid days off. This is what your company paid holidays look like. And we would say, okay, here's what your true compensation was. And so instead of $15 an hour, a lot of times it's $20, $25 an hour, but they don't see all that. So it's our job to help educate them. Now you are going to have people, Chris, even if you do that, they're like, well, I don't care. I just want the money in my paycheck. I don't care about the benefits and I don't care about all their stuff. So you're going to have that and there's nothing you can do about that, right?
Yeah.
But again, if you have a good culture, you show people appreciation, you say please and thank you, you treat them with respect, you educate them on some of the stuff that you're doing that other employers aren't, like usually you're going to retain your talent, right? And having an environment where you listen to your team and you have that open communication, like people want to be heard sometimes. And so like even in the corporate world, I had people come in and complain to me for an hour about something. And that wasn't the best use of my time. But you guess what happened? They would leave my office and 9 times out of 10, they're going back out on the shop floor or going back to their job and they're going to be way more productive because they felt better. Now, it made me stay later because I got an hour of my day that was taken away that I wasn't expecting. But at the end of the day, like, when we have a really good team and we care about our team and we build that right culture, that's really when you're going to start seeing the results of the team because people are going to run through that brick wall because you know what? They know Chris Garrison cares about them and their family. So they're going to do whatever they can, in order to help the business and help the team out. And so, I think that's another thing, just talking out through this, Chris, is that some business owners don't realize the responsibility that they have. When you think about it, and I think you and Christy and I, we talked about this when I was there last year, but at the end of the day, like, it's not just the employer you're supporting their family, and so I always have taken that as a big responsibility. One of my old bosses, Kevin, he really instilled that into me back in 2011 when I started working with him. And I still talk to him to this day, and they just hired me to help them find a pretty key role in their organization. So, remember that it's not just them. There's other people in their family you're supporting. And, when they're having a bad day, you always tell people, don't bring it into the workplace. We're all human beings,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's our job to have a little bit of compassion and empathy. Not that we want them to be unproductive because we're paying them for results and productivity, but sometimes, again, a 5-minute, just letting them vent or let them talk to you, that goes a long way with people.
Awesome, man. Dude, I appreciate you running through the life cycle of building a team for a company. It's definitely one of the biggest pain points, I think, for almost all business owners. And then on the flip side of it, it's also a pain point for the team members when they jump into an organization that doesn't understand the process that you just explained. As the last question, because I know we're pushing that hour mark and I want to be respectful of your time, I always like to find out, what is a book that has most impacted your life, or a podcast, whichever, that maybe you can recall and others might be able to jump on it and see if they can receive as much impact.
So I'll be controversial. I'll say the Bible is the book. I mean, like, I'm a faith-filled guy and I believe in, again, I just believe. So without that, like, a business book, Good to Great is one of my favorites. So is 12 Pillars by Jim Rohn. I love anything by John Maxwell. So those would be some of the answers I would give you. As far as podcasts, I already mentioned my motivational people I like. So anything by Jim Rohn, Inky Johnson, Les Brown, or Dr. Eric Thomas, those are the people I'm usually listening to.